all explain about character and characterization from the story The Little Match Girl by Hans Christian Andersen. One is the little match girl. This little match girl is unnamed. The girl is young, poor, and neglected. She's a dreamer because she likes to imagine that she is in a warm and comfortable place in the new year. She imagined that she was comfortable and could warm the little girl's body with her grandmother who loved her very much. Then she is persistent because she chose to freeze to death rather than when she come home, but she come home without money for her father, then she will be beaten. The second is the grandmother. The characterization, the grandmother is kind and lovely, not explained in detail about her grandmother because she is dead, but the little girls believe that her grandmother is the only person who loved her. In her dream, the little match girl was very happy to see her grandmother, who looked very beautiful and very radiant, taking her with her grandmother. Third is father. The characterization the father is abusive, not explained in detail about her father, but he is abused to little match girl that can be seen from the sentence in the story that for she had not sold any matches and could not bring the farthing money from her father, she would certainly get blows. The last is the boy thief. This character is cruel for stealing slippers from the little match girl, with boasting will repay her kindness later, yet they are equally trying to survive. Next is the POV or point of view. So the point of view from this story is the third person because the authors know everything that happened in the story and the author is not involved in the story.
Now I will explain about setting of the little magical. A. Evening. The last evening of the year in first paragraph, first sentence. B. New Year's Eve for paragraph, second sentence. C. In the corner front by two houses in 5 paragraph, first sentence. D. The street in first paragraph, second sentence. She shoved away across the street in first paragraph, third sentence. E. Snow, truck, and coat, first paragraph, first sentence. It snowed and was nearly white truck, first paragraph, first sentence. And in this coat and truckness, first paragraph, second sentence. And the last 1845 as the story published.
Okay, next I will continue the material, and the next material is the plot of the Little Match Girl. In the exposition of the Little Match Girl, we meet a poor girl on a bitterly cold New Year Eve. She is tasked with selling match but encounters indifference from the passerby. The setting is bleak, emphasizing the harsh condition of her impoverished life. The initial scenes establish the girl's vulnerability and the unforgiving environment in which she strives to survive, setting the stage for the poignant event that follow. Okay, next is the rising action. Unfold as the girl desperate for warmth and comfort. Like match one by one, each match bravely illuminates her surrounding, revealing vision of joy and warmth. This vision serves as a poignant contrast to her harsh reality. The rising action intensive as the girl struggles against the cold and her yearning for a better life become more pronounced. The match becomes a source of temporary solace, building emotional tension as the story progresses. Okay, Next is the climax. Occurs when in a desperate attempt to prolong the warmth and happiness of her vision, the girl, like all the remaining mates at once. This moment marks the emotional peak of the story, blurring the line between her vivid imagination and the stark reality of the freezing night. The climax captures the intensity of her final beautiful vision before the succumb to the cold, emphasizing the tragic contrast between the fleeting moments of Celeste and the harshness of her existence. Okay, the next is the falling action follows the climax as the girl vision fade away, leaving her in a cold reality of the New Year Eve night. The intensity of her imaginative escape diminished, and the narrative shift towards the aftermath of her attempt to find warmth through the match. The following action explores the consequence of her action and the tragic resolution of her struggle against the freezing temperatures. It sets the stage for the somber conclusion of the story, highlighting the harshness of her fate in her of societal indifference. Okay, the last is the resolution. The resolution is both heartbreaking and transcendent. As the girl succumbs to the cold, her spirit is released from the harsh reality, finding solace and warmth as she joins her deceased grandmother in heaven. In death, she escapes the suffering of her impoverished life, and the story concludes on a note of spiritual peace. The resolution brings a bittersweet closure to the narrative, emphasizing the stark contrast between the cruelty of her earthly existence and the comfort she discovers in the afterlife.
And the next is about conflict. In the story of the little match girl, there are a main conflict and a second conflict. Main conflict is person versus nature. She felt cold while selling match because it was snowing at the time. This evidence lies in paragraph 1 sentence 2, which states that in this cold and darkness there went along the street a poor little girl, bareheaded and with naked feet. Then in paragraph 2 sentence 2, soon the little maiden walked on with her tiny naked feet that were white, red and blue from cold. Then in paragraph 3 sentence 1, she crept along trembling with cold. Then in paragraph 5 sentence 2, her little feet she had drawn close up to her, but she grew colder and colder. Then in paragraph 6 sentence 1, her little hands were almost numb with cold. And in paragraph 12 sentence 1, that but in the corner at the cold hour of dawn sat the poor girl with rosy cheeks and with a smiling mouth, leaning against the wall frozen to death on the last evening of the old year. And the second conflict is person versus person. She didn't dare go home and was afraid her father would scold her if she didn't bring money. This evidence lies in paragraph 5 sentence 2, which states that and to go home she did not venture, for she had not sold any much and could not bring farthing of money from her father. She would certainly get blows.
The next I will explain about the theme of the Little Mouse Girl is about poverty, suffering, the harsh realities of life, and desperate situation of a poor young girl trying to sell matches in winter. The last I will explain about the moral value of the Little Mouse Girl is don't be difficult to help someone in need without that person asking for help first. We must have feelings of sympathy to help people first.